Welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, the travel podcast where we talk about all things from the silly to the serious and everywhere in between. I am your host, Ashley Newton. Thanks so much for spending some of your time with us. We really appreciate it. And this week we are unpacking camping. And my guest for this episode is a return guest. It is Ashley Jacin, and she is one happy camper. She likes to camp. She is pro camping. You feel like that's fair to say, Ashley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You were just saying, you're like, I just went camping. I'm going camping
2 weeks
again.
ago. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, going camping. I've got 2 scheduled for next month. None for this month, but yeah, 2 for next month. Yeah. So I've already been like 3 times this summer.
I can tell you that I have gone camping once. I went camping once with my family when I was a kid, and it was truly like traumatic for me, which is why I have never been camping since. Mm-hmm. And I want to preface this by saying that I'm sure this sort of stuff happens all the time, and I don't know why it scared me so much, but like after that was like, I don't ever want to go camping ever again. So I was with my whole family, and I really don't remember too much from this aside from sleeping in the tent. So like my parents had a tent, and then all the kids were in another tent. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the tent with my siblings. I have an older brother and an older sister. And you know, like your kids camping, you're going to start like telling stories, like trying to freak each other out. Mm-hmm. And they were very successful in freaking me out. So I remember asking them like, or they said something about snakes, and I was like, like there are no snakes in these woods though, because I was a naive kid that didn't think snakes like lived in Ohio. I was like, they're not from here, it'll be fine. And then they were like, no, there are for sure snakes, like there's probably snakes around you right now. And I was like, nuh-uh, like you're totally lying. So then they convinced me that not only were there a bunch of snakes around us, but there were going to be so many snakes that they were going to slither under our tent, and they were going to move our tent with their little snake bodies into the water that we were camping by, and we were all going to drown and die.
Did they get in on this together?
No, they just would always like I don't think they planned it. You know, it's like one person starts and the other person's like going along with it.
Because I know your siblings, so it's the 2 of them. Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm the youngest, so of course, like you believe everything your older siblings tell you, right? Yeah. It was my first time camping, so I was just so convinced that was gonna happen.
And how old were you at the time?
Oh gosh, like real under 10, easily
no.
under 10.
How
you know,
rude.
Yeah. So I was so scared, and I've never been camping since. And then the one time that I finally was like, all right, I'm gonna do it again. I'm an adult, like it'll be cool. I wanted to go with my boyfriend, but we both worked at the same like company, and we couldn't both have that time off. They wouldn't let us both go.
So you didn't get to go?
Yep. And I've never been camping ever again.
You have to come with me. Like, I feel like you... And where were you? Were you at a campground?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So it just depends. I have camped, like, roughing it camping maybe 2 times.
Okay.
And they weren't great experiences. Yeah. Like I'm going to say I'm more glamp. I have an RV.
Okay.
Or a travel trailer.
Well, this leads really nicely into some questions I wanted to ask you. So we're going to play a little game. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm going to call this rapid fire. Is it camping? So I'm just going to say real quick, like 3 or 4 things. If you're doing this or taking it with you, is it still camping? And then you'll just tell me yes or no.
Okay.
Okay. Just go with your gut. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is it camping if you bring an air mattress?
Yes.
Is it camping if you stay in an RV?
Yes.
Is it camping if you have a cabin?
Yes.
Is it camping if you bring your own generator?
Yeah.
So you're pretty loosey-goosey on your
loosey-goosey.
camping rules. Okay. So you're not a tent only, whatever you can carry on your backpack. That's the only true camping.
Oh, no.
You don't subscribe to that.
No. My camping is like if you are truly like living outside for multiple days on end. I'll tell you, my camping, we camp primarily at my in-laws' property, 20 minutes from here. And there is a house on the property, but we're acres back from it on the water, and we have an RV, and we park our RV back there. We don't go to the house.
You know, though, so that seems really nice for if something were to come up, like an emergency, or, you know, like you're not completely removed from civilization. Or I'm thinking even, too, like young kids. Like you now are like a young mother. So, like, have you been camping with your new family? So what's that like?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I camped when I was 8 months pregnant, and this is
You camped when you were
I
8
was
months
8
pregnant?
months pregnant.
Why?
So, because my in-laws are big campers, and I enjoy it. So it did take some convincing, and I will say we did not have our RV at the time. And I did tell my husband I am not sleeping in a tent right now because I was getting up to pee
Yeah.
17 times a night. So I was like, I'm not unzipping and zipping a tent because there is like an outhouse bathroom back there. So like we do have an actual toilet, which again is my
Sure.
thing. I'm not gonna pee on a tree for 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna do that. I'm too old for that, you know. So we actually did stay in the cabin on the property for that weekend while everybody else camped at the back of the property. So, but we just slept there, and then like we literally would get up in the morning, get on a four-wheeler or something, or walk all the way back to the campsite and spent the whole day back there. So like we really only had a place to sleep. But I was 8 months pregnant, yeah, and it was still a mattress on the floor, which was difficult. And then I had him in June, and we went camping in September for Labor Day.
Oh my gosh.
So he was 3 months old when we took him camping for the
Did
first
you go
time.
to the same spot?
Same spot, and we did sleep in the same cabin. So we had air conditioning, you know. So it was definitely glamping.
Gotcha.
It was more of a getaway. But to me, camping is like you spend the majority of your time outside. We cook over a fire most of our meals. I mean,
I can't wait to talk about that.
I'm mixed. I'm mixed about it. We have a grill. You cook most of your stuff on a grill or over a fire. So that's camping to me, is pretty much being outside all day, every day.
Yeah.
And then we took him camping again. Well, no. Labor Day, he was 3 months old. We went again Memorial Day when he was 10 months old.
So how does he feel about it? Like, is he...
I mean, if he's outside, he's happy.
Aw, yeah.
So he loves it. It's terrifying for me because we spend most of our time on an island in the pond. They built this, like, pavilion. It's just a pavilion,
Yeah.
like an overhead pavilion on the island in the center of, like, a 2 or 3 acre pond. And that's where we
Sounds
spend
so
most of our time.
cool.
It's very cool. But it's surrounded by water, and I have a 1-year-old. So it's very terrifying for me.
Yeah.
Because he loves water, and all he wants to do is run straight for it. But he's a great traveler. Like, if you've watched our other podcast on airplanes, I have taken my 8-month-old on an airplane, and so now with the RV, I keep a pack and play in there. I've got a little section in there for him, and I bring a sound machine, and he's fine.
Just happy as can
Yeah.
be.
If he's outside, he's happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's happy. It's definitely easier if you have an RV. I've tent camped before, not with him, with my dogs, but I don't know.
So I have to confess something, and this is super lame. So I don't actually like camping, but I'm kind of obsessed with the camping subreddit.
Okay.
And I can't explain why, but I love reading about like camping gear and like all the really cool stuff that's out there and like the hacks that all these people have. And since you brought up food, that's one of the things I love the most is when they're sharing like their you know, crazy things that they've come up with to cook over a fire.
Yeah.
Now, granted, most of the things I see are true like traditional fire, like over a fire cooking, not grill. So do you do any of that sort of stuff?
There is one I've wanted to try and we haven't done it, and it's the ice cream cone. You do like the ice cream
the
cone
s'mores?
with marshmallows and chocolate stuff. I've never tried it. I'm a s'more freak.
If you've tried it, let us
love
know.
S'mores.
Because I feel like the ratios there would be totally
Yes.
off. So
Well,
it's like...
wouldn't the cone get soggy too?
I don't know. I mean, like...
I don't know.
I'm just curious if you like them, if you've tried it, if
Yeah.
it's worked for you.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm a traditional s'more gal,
Yeah.
like, pretty through
Me
and
too.
through. Although, I do like messing with the chocolate instead of just a traditional chocolate
Reese's.
bar. Yes.
And it has to be the mini one. It can't be like a normal... To me, it can't be the normal size Reese cup. It has to be the mini Reese cup.
You like more of the chocolatey flavor coming through still?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I like more marshmallow. I'll put 3 marshmallows on that
No,
sucker.
really?
Oh, God, yeah.
So when you're actually toasting your marshmallow, what is your toasting protocol?
If it catches on fire, trash immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. My husband gets it if it catches on fire. Even once. If there's a hint of blackness on it, I'm done. I'm over it. So I like to, you got to be like, I don't know, like 6 inches to a foot above the flame. and you got to take your time. You got to be patient.
Oh,
Usually
you're an
someone else
above
makes it
the
for me.
flame roaster.
Above the flame.
Okay, so I learned this at a bachelorette party, and they were like, she was like, go towards the coals and go
Yeah,
like as
that
low as
too.
possible. And I was like, okay,
Just don't go
because-
in the flame.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you gotta like be right there. But I love when I get like a burnt layer, and I will be that person that like. So you have your burnt
take it
marshmallow.
off?
Yeah. So you
Uh-huh.
take off like the burnt husk and then you
Uh-huh.
eat it and then you
Uh-huh.
burn it more. Like I will totally do that.
There is something satisfying about pulling that husk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It
get
is
that.
so fun. And like I don't want it too burnt, but I want it to where the inside is molten. I want to be worried about 3rd-degree burns
Oh,
on the roof
okay,
of my
alright,
mouth from
yeah.
how much I have torched this
Yeah.
marshmallow. You
I
know?
want the inside like gooey and the outside perfectly brown, like golden brown.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
So what are your like camping staples? Like what do you usually like plan on cooking? Or do you guys not do that at all?
I have to admit, I don't know if any of my in-laws are ever going to listen to this podcast, but there's always a lot of us, and I'm a crazy planner, but it all goes to heck the day before, and I'm like, I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So like, I usually do like a Walmart order the day before, and it's just like, you always got to have like lunch meats, you know what I mean? Quick sandwich preparation for lunch, or Uncrustables, peanut butter and jelly, something like that for lunch, because we always do breakfast. My mother-in-law has this huge pan, like 4 times the size of my face, that we cook over the fire. We do breakfast every morning and over the fire.
That's cool. Like eggs, meats,
Yeah.
everything all in the
all
one
of
pan.
It. All of it. You do all the
Fun.
bacon and stuff first, and then you crack, I don't know, 18 eggs or something, for how many? Because we have this grate that you put over the fire. So, yeah, we do that every single morning, and then you do the toast right on the grate. I mean, yeah. And
Cool.
then, like, for dinners, we usually plan everything. My husband is a big smoker of meats, so he brings his smoker. It's a very large smoker. So we'll usually smoke or grill some kind of meat, and then everybody brings a side dish for dinner. So we plan out dinners.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law always does like breakfast muffins, like egg and cinnamon toast muffins that she makes ahead of time, and like mini muffins, and then she foils each of them and then writes what it is, and then in the morning we literally just toss them all, empty the bag on the coals. Yeah. And
Love
then you grab yours,
it.
you see like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a cinnamon one. You grab it off the coals and you open it up and it's reheated. Those are great. Or breakfast sandwiches. I did this when I was doing camping once. You literally at home just make like a line of English muffins, cook eggs, cheese, bacon and sausage, whatever, put them in, wrap them in foil, put them in the freezer. And then in the morning, you just take, it's like a
Just
Jimmy
like
Dean's breakfast
yeah.
sandwich. You just make your own. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to know if you've done this. One thing that I've seen all over social media lately is the savory s'more.
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so I've seen
Why
2
haven't
ways.
I seen this?
I'm chronically online, dude. I just spend too much time on social media. But the one version is literally just a traditional s'more as is, but instead of marshmallow, you use like a triple cream brie. So it's the triple cream brie, the chocolate, and the graham cracker. Now I would try one. Would you try one?
I'm not a lover of brie. I would definitely try it. I'll try anything, but I don't love brie.
Yeah. Okay.
My
No,
husband would love it though.
I would love it too.
He loves
I think
brie.
I'd love it. I don't know. But then the second one I'm intrigued by even more because it's taking all the elements and swapping them out for something savory. So instead of your graham cracker base, you just have any sort of like sturdy cracker that you're into. Your marshmallow is still cheese, but the one I saw was Baby Bells. So they took
Okay.
Baby Bells and then like, just put those on the fire for a little bit. And then instead of chocolate, it's like any sort of like meat that you're into. So like prosciutto, salami, ham,
Sold.
whatever. Right?
Sold.
I'm like, why is this just now a thing?
I
This
could
is
eat
so
pounds of prosciutto.
genius.
So I mean, I'm
Same.
Italian. Like if you give me a charcuterie board over a fire on a stick, sign
Exactly.
me up.
Exactly. I was like, this is so smart. And like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want something sweet. Sometimes you want something savory. So I'm for sure gonna do that, but in my backyard. Like
That's
for
fair.
sure.
No, that's
like
fair.
and I think maybe that's why I get so caught into like the camping hacks and the camping things. even though I'm like, I'm probably never gonna do it, I want to find a way to like adapt it into my lifestyle that like does work for me. But man, some of the camping like like those tents that are like, and here's your living room, and here's your general room, and here's like, they're 3 rooms. I'm like, this is a 3-story house. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, but what you don't know about that is the effort and time it takes to set up your campsite. And even with an RV, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
The setup day and the breakdown day of camping, I don't care if you're in an RV or in a tent, it is exhausting. Well, especially with a 1-year-old.
And you just totally summed up to me why I don't think camping is a vacation.
It's not.
Okay,
It's
I don't think so.
really
It's an
not.
activity.
It's yeah.
But it's not a vacation. It's not relaxing. Like, basically, anytime you're taking a bathroom away from me, this isn't a vacation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, you can't shower for a week? Absolutely not. Like,
oh, I won't go somewhere if I can't shower.
Yeah. Well, no, and there are the campgrounds, right? They have the electricity or the, the full bathrooms and stuff. And
I'm not hanging a bag of water from a tree to shower.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, they're shower bags.
How does that work? How does it?
It's like one of those bib bags.
All I'm thinking of is like Franzia, like boxed wine. So it's like, does it have like a spout like that, like built in?
Kind of. Yeah. It's like got a turner, and some of them have like built-in heaters to heat the water before you go. But you like hang it over. This is roughing it camping.
Yeah,
I have done roughing it camping one time, and we made it one night, and we left at 2 a.m. because of the torrential downpour.
Oh no!
I'll tell you. Yeah, it was. And we didn't do anything like that. We were also like, I don't know, 19 years old. And we were like, let's go camping in these backwoods. It was like 60 acres back into my cousin's property. And it was me and 3 of my best guy friends. And we took a tent and we went back there. We took my cousin's 4-wheeler. We were like acres back. And I was like, it started raining, 4 of us in like a 3-person tent, 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm out of here. Let's go.
So what'd you do?
We got up, left the tent.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we left the tent. We took our stuff. We got on the 4-wheeler and we drove through the woods in the rain in the 4-wheeler to the car.
At 2 in the morning?
At 2 in the morning, and we slept in the car, the 4 of us. Yeah.
What kind of car? Was it at least like an SUV or was it like a Honda Civic?
No, it was, if I remember correctly, it was my friend Sean's car, and it was like a old Mercedes or something.
How did you all even fit in there?
We did. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, there was it was a long night. Yeah.
So,
and I don't rough it.
So was it literally a full 24 hours or was it just
No, we didn't make it 24 hours. I think we got there at like 4 p.m. and it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. We were like, no, we're done. The tent was raining on us. Like,
no.
I don't. Yeah. So that's roughing it.
Was
camping.
that your
Would
worst?
I do that? No.
Was that your worst camping experience?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So what did you learn from that? Like that you were like, I won't do this. Yeah.
Prepare. Camping is 90% preparation. It truly, truly is. 10% like enjoyment while you're there. And I'm not selling this, I know, but I understand that. But there's something about it.
And some people can find that really rewarding. Yeah. Like personally, I love the planning stage of travel, and like I almost like planning to camp more than I think I would like camping. But what is your best camping experience? You said you got an RV recently.
We did.
So was that like game changing for you?
Yes. Yeah. Having air conditioning at night is game changing, or even heat. I haven't really camped in like the cold weather.
Ooh,
I have in the fall and spring where it's chilly, but I haven't camped in like the winter. Having the RV and having an actual bed. I have a fractured back, so I'm not going to sleep. We used to sleep in tents. We did before we had my son. And it was us and our 2 dogs. And we had a queen air mattress on one side and all of our stuff in a little table on the other side. And it truly was fine.
The dogs would sleep in the tent with you?
Oh, yeah. It took them a while to get them in. They were afraid of it, but they were afraid of the air mattress for a while.
Yeah.
But we've done that. But, yeah, to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you have to unzip. And you have to, like, creep across the campground or whatever you're in and find the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because if you're at a campground, they have bathhouses and stuff. But if you're not readily next to it, and you can't just go to the bathroom outside your tent at a campground, there's 7 other people next to you.
Yeah.
So if you're in the woods, it's fine. But for me, It's like, if I wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom, need a glass of water, I can just get up out of my bed and walk across the RV, you know?
Yeah.
And if that's not, makes me not a camper, that's fine. But
Let us know.
Yeah. I mean, we wake up, we don't spend any time in the camper. I mean, we sleep in the camper. We get up, we make coffee, and we go out by the water. And we literally sit in soccer chairs, camping chairs for the entire day. If it's raining, we sit under the pavilion. You know what I mean? Like, so we're literally outside all day, or swimming, or you know what I mean? So the only time I go in my RV is to put my kid to sleep for a nap and us sleep.
Yeah.
So, but it's nice in the middle of the night. It's worth it. It's worth the money for me.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The maintenance of it, though, it seems like a whole other thing. Like, it seems pretty serious.
It is.
Right? Yeah.
It is serious. And if you have a septic tank, I have a septic tank at my house, but I have a company who comes and does it. You don't have a company that does RV septic tanks.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a whole thing. It's another vehicle, essentially. Ours
Right.
doesn't have a motor. Ours is a pull behind, but I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg with it. But, I mean, any kind of camping trip that I've been on, like, this year and last year with the RV is so nice. Like, they're all pretty much the same. Getting to do it with my son, who was 3 months old, I was petrified.
Right.
But just to see him, like, he slept in his little pram carrier outside next to a lake all day long. You know what I mean? Like, it was really a cool experience. My dogs are always with us, so yeah,
fun for the whole family. Which, you know, you
Camping
can't
with
always
dogs.
find travel experiences that
No.
work like that.
Camping
And
with
I am
dogs
gonna
is a
call
whole
it
new
that,
thing.
like a travel experience, because we've agreed it's not a vacation
It's
by any means. So Ashley, you've done the tent camping, the cabin versions, the RV, so you've really done it all. And something we love to talk with you on this show about is your icks.
My icks.
Your pet peeves that gives you the willies, that I don't like it, please stop. So I want to know, what are your camping icks that you just wish people would stop doing it?
Well, if you're at a public campground and you're using the shower houses, wear shower shoes. Please wear shower shoes. You bring plastic flip-flops. It's not that hard. You know what I mean?
Can't believe we have to explain this to people, but okay, what else?
Yeah. Like, we camp at a private campsite normally. Like, it's a private property, so like in there it's a house shower. We will shower like normal, but like if you're in a public campground and I see you walking out of the shower house bare feet, please don't do it.
Don't do it.
I guess an ick is just respect. Again, it's like if
Yeah.
you're at a campground, they have quiet hours and people get drunk and get crazy. And I understand you're having a good time, but like, be respectful to the campers that are sleeping. Like me, I'm lame and I like to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I don't care if you stay up and hoot and holler and have fun, but maybe like don't be shooting off fireworks and revving engines and, you know what I mean? Like, we always have four-wheelers and stuff going on where we are, and they all know no four-wheeler past like 8 o'clock. Like, just be respectful.
Well, again, something I learned on the camping Reddit is people saying that, again, like, they are, like, not following the rules, but that includes, like, going into other people's campsites at night. And, like, that would scare me. Like, I'd be scared.
Campers get friendly. Being
Ew.
at a campground, being at a public campground is a whole new world.
Like, are people making friends?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Ew.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Why would...
Because they're drinking and they're like, yeah, this is a party. We're all here together. And I'm like, no, I'm here with my family. I'm not here with you just because your campsite is right next to mine. They'll walk over to your fire and just sit down and be like, where are you guys from? What are you guys doing? I'm like, no, ma'am.
Don't you
leave."
go to the woods to escape people? Like, why?
This is why I don't
That's a
go
nightmare.
to public campgrounds very often. Yeah. It just because, and I think that's great. If that's what you want, that's fine. But like, we need some flags or something. Like, if I have a red flag, don't come to my campground.
my
If
God.
there's a green one, I want visitors. Let's make that a new thing.
I love that. We should just do that in general.
Yeah,
for
for
anybody
sure.
interacting with people all the time. Like, you know, like a little bracelet. Like, I'm in a don't talk to me mood. Like,
Yes.
that'd be so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I couldn't believe that. And then another thing I read that's been apparently happening more in the alleged camping community is theft.
Oh.
But you mainly
No.
camp private, so
Yeah.
obviously your family's
Yeah.
not stealing your stuff.
No.
But I've heard that that's a thing, which I've always wondered about, like, how do
Which scares
you,
me.
like, lock your stuff down?
Right.
Like, you can't really. It's a very trust-based activity, I think.
It is. So I have camped with an RV at a public campsite a couple times, and I am really crazy about locking my doors at night and my
Yeah.
car door, because you have your car on your campsite. So like when I go to sleep at night, my camper gets locked. I don't want, especially it might not even be their intention. Someone has had too much to drink and wanders into your camper. That has happened. Not to me, thank goodness, but like that has happened. You could just be like, this looks like my camper, and you walk in it, you know?
That happened to my boyfriend once. He
No.
crawled into somebody else's tent and, like, started, like, sleeping with them. And they were so nice about it. I think they were just sort of like, hey, buddy, like,
Oh, no.
this
See?
isn't for you. And it was at Nelson's, so
Oh,
it was, like, for a
okay.
music festival, so
okay.
the vibe's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, like, they were very kind about it. But how mortifying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's and like a tent, you can't lock your tent.
Yeah.
Like,
Put
so
a
what
little
am I
bike
supposed
lock
to
on
do?
there.
I've seen people do things like that, but like I can't lock my tent, and I am very worried about things. Like if I hear woods, or if I'm in, and I have tent camp, so if I hear things in the middle of the night, I'm like, Alex, did you hear that? Did you hear that? What was that? And he goes, Ashley, it was literally the wind. It was quite
No,
literally.
Ashley, it's the snakes
No,
coming to
it's
move
the
your tent into the
snakes.
water. That's what it is. It's the herd of snakes coming for
We
you.
camped at, we used to camp at West Branch every single year.
Another Ohio staple.
Yes, West Branch State Park, and we used to every single year, and we always borrowed someone's camper. Like we didn't have one of our own, so we would either do tents or we had a pop up at one point, and we borrowed someone's camper. One year we borrowed my cousin's camper, and the spot that we were in was under like a walnut tree or something, and I'm telling you, all night long, those walnuts are like boulders hitting the roof of this camper.
Yeah.
We had to replace things on the top of his camper because they like went through
Shut up.
the ceiling vents. But that was terrifying until I realized because it sounded like someone was like jumping on the top of our camper in the middle of the night.
Oh my God, no.
So yeah. And then like, I have an embarrassing story. When we were camping at West Branch, I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and that's one of the things. You go and you pee in the woods. That's just sometimes in the middle of the night, that's what you do. Well, people also stay up all night, and there are paths in the woods, FYI. And I got up in the middle of the night, and I went far enough back as I thought I could. It was like 3 a.m. And then I
Right.
saw all these like red headlights, and it was a group of campers who I was actually technically with. I just didn't know them very well. And I have never stood up so fast. And I was like, what are you guys doing? They're like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, okay. All right, I'm going to go back to bed. Good night. So that happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You have to go to the shower houses. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're not catching me at a campground probably at all, but definitely not without like the full bathroom.
Yeah.
Like that's just
For
not
sure.
a thing for me. But we want to hear about your camping opinions and your camping stories. So drop them in the comments. Or actually, you guys, we started a Reddit community too. So you can find us on Reddit, Travel Stories Unpacked. If you want to be a little bit more anonymous than leaving a YouTube comment, I totally get that, especially if it's one of these more embarrassing stories. So you can find us on Reddit and share your stories there, or anywhere using our hashtag Travel Stories Unpacked. So Ashley, thank you for sharing your stories and talking about
course.
camping. And I don't know if we left you with a good impression of camping, but I want to say it was an honest one.
Yeah.
Like you do
Yeah.
it is work. You do
It
have to
is.
prepare.
It
You have to
is.
do some research. There's a lot of, packing and prep work that goes into it, but that could also be extremely satisfying and a really effective and cost-effective way to travel.
It
So,
is. And you have very relaxing moments in nature for it, I will say.
Yeah.
Like getting up and having your coffee over the sunrise in nature is nice.
yeah. It sounds like a mood.
It is.
It sounds like
it's
a mood.
It's a whole mood.
All right, well, we're going to keep coming back on Fridays with new travel topics to unpack, so be sure to keep tuning in. And this podcast is brought to you by Kasham Travel Group, a leading host agency for independent travel agents. Go to kashamtravel.com to learn more.